Welcome back to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host Nitin Sharma, the founder and CEO of RecTools.io. As you know by now, RecTools is the largest whole of market directory for all recruitment suppliers. So if you're a recruitment business owner or if you're a talent acquisition team and you're looking for a new supplier into your business, head to RecTools.io. It's free to access, free to use. You've got reviews, you've got rec perks, which are discounts and rewards, and you've got product demos and the whole shebang. So today's episode is a product feature again of one of our sort of claimed pages. So we as recruitment business owners, there's one day a week that we absolutely despise, and that is Fridays. Especially if you're contractor heavy business, Fridays are payroll days. It's the pain in the arse. Everything goes wrong. Can't do anything other than just be sitting sorting everything out all day long. So I'm sat here with a couple of guys today who have maybe fixed that issue to some degree. So we're just going to pull apart kind of who they are, what they do. I am pleased to announce I'm in their office today. So thank you for welcoming me today. I've got the owner of AGPayroll, Chris Fahey. No, I said it wrong again, didn't I? Fahey. I fucking knew it was going to happen. Don't say it. Yeah. So we'll start that again. So I've got Chris Fahey.
Yeah, so I'm it.
And we've got Chester Boothe. Chester, this is your fourth, fifth time on the podcast.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so thank you again.
I'm a veteran.
Yeah,
no
you
problem.
certainly are. Guys, first of all, thank you for welcoming me to your humble abode. Glasgow is a beautiful sunny day today.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. Looking forward to getting out and about later and seeing the sights. Right, look, payroll. It's payroll providers, umbrella companies, and all the rest of it. They're not just much of a muchness. They're not all the same.
Yeah. Well, no, is the short answer to
That would have been a really short podcast.
They're all the same, that's it.
Cheers for coming.
No, I've been in the industry for 20 years. I've worked for some of the biggest companies and Chester has as well in the payroll industry. But I wanted to make my company different. With a chat earlier on, I was saying when I worked for Paystream and Parasol, you were on the PSLs with all the big agencies, your Hayes, your Adecos, your Reeds, but you were one of 15.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't about what you knew and partnership and adding value.
That's just a list.
No, it was
literally
all
a list of suppliers.
Yeah, it was about who brought the biggest bag of donuts in, who bought the most Jaeger bombs, and then next week someone else would be favourite of the week. So I wanted the companies that we work with, the agencies we work with, we're a sole supplier for 99% of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is they give me referrals, but I give them the expertise and the support, and that's the way I've built the business, is to have that. I don't want to do my donut drops and my nights out, and I like a night out, but not every week.
Yeah. I always think entertaining your clients or taking people out for as an example should only really be done as a thank you, not as a please let's do business.
100%. I say that you end up getting into a race to the bottom because it's too. And I was saying earlier on as well, it's like there's definitely a north v south divide in this. Anything north of Birmingham, people appreciate that expertise and partnership. It's definitely a London thing where everyone likes.
Well, what do you think that is then?
I think a lot of the owners in London just let the consultants to get on with it. Mm-hmm. And I think if you give consultants free rein at it, they're going to see what they can get, and most of that is nights out and whatever else.
And do you think maybe that then the consultants don't really see the value then of the embedded model that you're going for, which is, we can educate you so that you can educate your clients?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they just see that as basically we just want as much as we can, and then there's agency owners who appreciate the training and the expertise we can
Which comes back to the original thing on you're all just the same. Well, actually, if all you've ever dealt with is a certain type of payroll company, then that's all you're going to expect, right? Yeah. So there's probably then a disconnect when you're then speaking to prospective business owners and whatnot. You must be able to cotton on quite quickly, right? Okay, these guys are just...
So, the issues of consultants joining organisations, they're used to working with a certain company that provides payroll. They move from company to company and they take those companies with them. not necessarily for the benefit of the organisation, but could be for the benefit of themselves. And I'm not saying that across the board, but I've seen that myself. So when Chris and I got together and we started talking about how we could work together, for me it was all about adding value. Anybody can come into the payroll world and say we can do A, B and C. How do you evidence that? So we'll get onto the tech conversation a little bit later, because I think the tech revolution in this space is going to be the driver for growth, especially for AGPayroll.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, so the service has always got to be number one. Number one, if you don't have service, you don't have
It's a service-based industry,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really?
Yeah. If you don't pay the guys, doesn't matter how friendly I am, how long I've known somebody. If you own an agency and you give me 5 guys to pay and I don't pay them, that's the end of the professional relationship. But as Chester said, the technology part has been a game changer for us. So we'll jump into the app and the portal in time, but that has been a game changer for us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But you make a good point though, actually, because if I don't, as a former recruitment business owner, if I see you as a supplier, then I'm going to hold you to a kind of certain expectation, a statement of work or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So one of your things is you have to pay my
Yeah.
guys, come hell or high water. But if I see you as an extension to my business, as my payroll department, just like my accountancy practice is,
Correct.
just like my outsourced marketing team,
And your IT and your hosting.
right? If I see you as that, and there is an issue with paying the payroll team, like paying the payroll and getting it out, I'm not going to go, right, that's it, I'm dropping it. I'm going to be like, well, we need to understand what's happened here. Where's this broken down? Because that's how a relationship works, right? Things go wrong sometimes.
Correct.
It's about how you kind of deal with that. And if you kind of extrapolate that as an agency, you'll have clients who will drop you at the drop of a hat because you're too expensive, you didn't get CVs over in time, whatever, or you spoke to a line manager, how dare you?
God forbid, God forbid that.
So that's it, right?
Yeah,
and so you're obviously not a valued supplier.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got others that have got such embedded relationships with the talent acquisition teams and with the line managers that actually they accept that sometimes you're not going to find the right candidate.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are going to have to go back to the drawing board, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's how a partnership works, right? So talk to me about the service element of what you do then. So you don't do but you don't do the nights out, the Jaeger bombs, here's a load of donuts, come on guys, let's sell some payroll. What do you do? Where's the value add that you're bringing to the table?
So just going into what you touched on there for the Friday payments and guys getting paid. Again, when I worked for Paystream and Parasol, if there was a contractor and something had slipped through the net and it was 5 o'clock on a Friday, computer would say no, you couldn't get them paid at that time. So if it happens every week, then it's not going to happen, but quite a lot I get agency owners phoning me up at 5 o'clock saying, Chris, come on, this one slipped through the net, is there any chance and we'll get them paid. So we can get them paid. Some of the guys have been getting paid at like 7 o'clock on a Friday night. So it's just going above and beyond and adding that sort of personal touch rather than we're part of a massive organisation and everyone's went home, so you can't do that. So that again, it's more of that on the service side of things.
And to add to that, if you think about who the customer is, so we've got 2 customers, we've got the agency and we've got the worker. And it's so important that worker, he or she may have a family to support, we've all got bills, cost of living, everybody needs to get paid. So if somebody does slip through the net, we've got the resources to back that up. It's not at 5 o'clock on a Friday, it's all over. We can pay.
Okay.
Yeah, on the technology side that we've mentioned before, the app is a game changer for us. So we'll
come on to the app in a minute. I really want to dig into because again, I speak to a lot of like kind of what I call boutique or independent, right? Umbrella companies and stuff. And the stuff you're saying is very kind of like, okay, that seems to be something that a lot of the smaller payroll providers provide, right? But we were speaking off camera, and you mentioned about kind of advising and updating on legislation and that kind of thing. Talk to me about that sort of stuff, because I think that's the bit that, without you realising, is probably the key thing that a lot of them just don't do.
So if I could set Chris up, I had an issue the other week where an agency contacted us, an SME, he wanted to understand about IR35, SDC, etc. And he was completely lost in that scenario. And he posed a question to me, which I knew some of the answers, but I thought, Chris, let me just ping it to Chris. Chris was on holiday, right? He was on holiday with his family, and he came straight back to me with the exact answer of how we do it. You want to pick that one up? Because that was a good example.
Yeah, so, and that is an example. It's like, Chester had sent that over to me, and I was on holiday with my wife and 3 kids.
Yeah, you're looking at you cheeky.
Yeah, do you know,
Couldn't
like,
Google it.
I know it's that. I know the answer, and I know that's 5 minutes of my time. And I knew that if I didn't answer that there and then, that could have escalated.
Yeah.
And then they would have went somewhere else. So yeah, it was a straightforward one. That was outside IR35, but the guy he was paid through umbrella. So we sorted that out. But again, it's when we go back to when I worked for PayStream and Parasol, these account managers that are dropping in bags of donuts and doing the Jaeger bombs. I've had examples of them going into an agency's office and they say, can you take them in the boardroom and give them 15 minutes on IR35 or agency workers regulations, and they've said they've been spooked, and they say, I don't know about that. So an agency owner could say to me, right, can you give me 10 minutes on what's happening in IR35 and I can do that straight away?
Correct.
Or can you jump in a Zoom call and take my team through this? I can jump on straight away, or I can go into the office.
Yeah.
We've got, how many, 100 years between us?
Yeah.
Experience. So we can go and
Jeez.
explain
Yeah.
and explain it in simple terms.
Simple terms.
Yeah, not go into we know all the legislation, we know all the details, but you give it from a consultant's point of view and just keep it in simple terms. Yeah.
See, I get that. Because I think, if I think back to my agency owning days, I think the best example of top service that I can give for the umbrella company that we used to use was that I would be able to put complex candidates who are, I'm not sure if they're inside or outside of IR35, they don't quite understand, they've always done it this way, but is there a better way, That scenario where I could then go, right, can you just call the candidate and just talk them through their options, give it all out, and then let them make their decision?
Exactly.
Because I didn't know the answers, and I wouldn't even pretend to,
Yeah, but as an agency owner, everyone's scared of HMRC.
Yeah.
You're, because you hear HMRC and you shit yourself basically. So they want to know that the supply chain from their client to the agency to the payroll to the contractor, that all the boxes are ticked. So we can put their mind at ease and tell them what we do.
On the HMRC then, before we move on to the tech product, how do you feel as somebody that's been in the umbrella world for most of your working career, right, about the name and shame, the hall of shame that they've got? Here's all the umbrella companies that have been doing the bad thing. You know what I mean? How do you feel about that?
Listen, there's the ones that are getting named and shamed are doing something offshore, is what I've seen in the experience. So if they're doing that, a lot of these companies will know they're going to get caught. There's only a certain amount of shelf life. They're basically set up to make their money. Once they get caught, they disappear, and then they open up as something else. The world that we're in isn't really that world. So
there's lots of compliance badges and kind of things that you can go and get, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are SafeRec certified, but there are others that you can go for. So just talk me through sort of what they are and why did you guys decide, right, SafeRec's the one to go with?
So you've got FCSA, Professional Passport, and SafeRec. FCSA is run, that's probably the biggest, probably the most well known, and that's run by umbrella company owners.
Okay.
So it isn't independently audited. Now, I'm not saying anything against the FCSA, it's got its merits.
No, but it's worth knowing though, isn't it? Right, okay, so that's like a bunch of recruiters being like, let's set the standards and let's just kind of check everyone's doing what it should be.
Yeah. And I think
which leaves you open to a bit of a,
Yeah, and if there is anything that goes wrong with the members, there has been a bit where they haven't been dealt with as harshly as what some people would want them to. But don't get me wrong, there was 3 FCSA members kicked out last week, so they're maybe getting their arse and gear.
And picking up on that point, I really do think there needs to be more teeth when it comes to this type of stuff. To get that accreditation, you have to jump through hoops.
Yeah.
So you go and get the accreditation as well as paying a good fee to get it, and then you're found to behave in this way, it contravenes,
it should be more than just
contravenes
naughty,
everything
yeah.
what it was set up for.
Yeah.
So for me, the name and shaming personally is you're getting away with murder. For me, you should be off the list straight away. You should be suspended and then investigated,
Right.
and
I'm with
then
it.
because it's all about adding value and compliance. If you see that badge up there and organisations are not adhering to it, what's the badge for?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, why did you guys go with SafeRec then? What was it about
Yeah.
specifically SafeRec that made you go, yeah, this is the accreditation we need?
Yeah, so the two we considered were Professional Passport and SafeRec. Professional Passport, again, is only audited annually.
Okay.
That is independently audited, but it just wasn't for me. And then Seb from SafeRec had a chat with me, and straight away I knew I know that's where the market's going now from a compliance point of view. So what happens with SafeRec is it is independently audited. It's not just independently audited; it audits in real time.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it integrates with our payroll software system. So I had to spend 6 months going through the due diligence process. Half of that was getting their technology set up with integrated into our technology.
Yeah.
So there's no fudging it. If I turn around to you and I say, Nathan, I'm fully compliant, don't worry about it, mate. Like, what this does is it integrates in every week the payslip, it runs an AI report, and it audits that payslip.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it makes sure, so there's been a few cases where people have been skimming £1 here,
Correct.
skimming £2 here. Straight away that would flag up to SafeRec, and they would be on the phone to me and say tell me exactly what's happened.
I've witnessed this firsthand, and I've heard horror stories, right?
Yeah.
Recruitment business owners don't realise this, and we had Julia Commode I was chatting to once, and she made a really good point, because she was like, the business owners, recruitment business owners, what they don't realise is the buck stops with them.
Yes.
These payroll companies that do kind of skim a bit here, skim a bit there, they'll go and they'll be long gone.
Yeah.
And that bill, HMRC is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And they're going to come and they're going to go, right, okay, well, all roads lead to Rome. Guess what?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, you're Rome. Here's your bill. You need to settle it, right? And recruitment business owners don't realise that sometimes. I think because we're so focused on the revenue and the bottom line that we don't really actually consider the risk. And your business insurance ain't going to cover you.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you'll be able to talk your way out of it by going, I didn't know, because ignorance is not an excuse. It's just not a valid reason, unfortunately. Yeah. So okay, fine.
So just one other thing on that
Go on.
SafeRec do. I have a monthly meeting with SafeRec, a Zoom call, and they ask me to open up my HMRC government gateway, and we go through it and we say, right, go through your VAT, you open up the VAT's been paid, they take a screenshot of that, go into your tax has been
So
paid.
they fully are holding you to account.
So they know that that's been paid on a monthly basis, and then after that, every one of our agencies gets a report from SafeRec, which is an external independent report that says that AGPayroll have made all the deductions, they've paid all the tax, and they've paid the VAT. Now what agencies are doing now is that's the silver bullet. So they keep that in their due diligence, they keep that in their file.
Yeah.
But also some of them are using that to go and win business.
Well, I was just going to say, my head goes straight to that's a sales tool.
Yeah,
Take that straight to listen.
Yeah.
You ask all of the agencies that currently that supply your contractors, would they pass this audit?
Yeah.
Could they hand on heart say they can pass this audit? Because we did.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about audit. An audit is a snapshot in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one-off. So when the other two organisations come in and do their audit, it's at that time. This is continuous supply chain audit.
Consistent.
It's consistent. It's weekly.
Real
it's
time,
monthly. In real time.
That's
that
really
for me is the value add.
I think that we definitely need to do an episode. If you can intro me to Seb, we could really do with an episode on SafeRec in terms of who they are, what they do. But that's really okay. So you've got the obvious stuff, which is make your payroll on time, or meet your deadlines, all the rest of that good shit. You've got the additional value add of any payroll related question. You come to us. You come to us because we are not just an umbrella company that happen to do your payroll. We are your payroll provider. We are your in-house, outsourced, whatever you want to call it. You know, you've got then the SafeRec certification that you guys are, you know, some would argue somewhat sadistic to be like, go on then, audit me again on a real-time basis. You know, who the fuck wants to actually do that, right? So you've kind of gone, okay, here, this is the badge of honour. Let's go with that. Let's get onto the tech bit then, because that's the bit you guys. That's your kind of your golden goose, isn't it? That's the guys. That's the thing you guys are most sort of proud of. Talk to me about that.
Well, I'll let Chester talk because I've talked to him. And I can hear Chester likes to talk. You've been quiet for 10 minutes.
It's the app.
Yeah.
The app just really turns me on, to be honest. You know, right. So I'm a contractor. You get the app. You download the app. The app is there. It tells me my pay slips, my contract assignments, when my money coming in. It's got everything. In a world where mobile phones is a supercomputer, the app for me is a key seller for a contractor. It's all there. But then you've got the agency portal, which Chris has developed. Again, technology. The agencies can see where all their workers are at any one time. The app allows you to
I've got my CRM for that, haven't I?
Well, this agency portal for me is not your recruitment CRM. It tells you about your contractors and your contractors' assignment. And with some clever API, no doubt you can.
But some invoice financing companies have that already, right? Because a lot of these guys will be through invoice financing or invoice factoring. So they'll have. Is that not just another thing to have to keep updated?
There's one of the where the agencies have found this useful is the agencies have to produce a key information document. So that gives them all the key information documents for every contractor. So it just takes that task away from them.
That intermediary report.
All the IDs in there, all their bank details, all their pension details of the contractors. So also what it does is, if sometimes a contractor struggles to realise that we're the payroll company, and they'll phone the agency and ask them a payroll question. Now what usually happens is they then phone us and then they have to phone the contractor back. If it's a straightforward question, the consultant can just log into the portal and say, just 2 seconds, you said you get paid 40 hours, you were supposed to be paid 45, let me just check your pay slip. So they can just log in, or I can see your pay slips incorrect, I'll go and sort that out for you. So it just gives them
you go
access.
into the root cause and you're sort of almost taking a step out of that process, which is usually someone's gone wrong and it's they didn't answer because it's a Friday and they're probably out and about.
And it's saving the consultant time.
When I was a recruiter, the biggest problem for me was getting my welfare contractor team to onboard workers. That was a phenomenal. Then it was a done thing. Now it's a waste of money. You got all these people sitting in the back office doing welfare checks. They onboard themselves through the technology of the app.
If you really wanted to go to town on this as an agency owner, we could do everything for the agency from a compliance and payroll point of view. We can do right to work checks, we can do ID checks, we can do key information documents. Some are nervous to do that because there are people in the agencies and that's their job. And they'll say, well, that's Lisa's job. And what's she going to do? And I'm like, well, I don't know, that's up to you. But if you want to go all in, then we can do not just the payroll side of things, we can do all the...
But you have to enhance technology. People are scared of AI. I love it. It's how you use it. That's the key thing. You know? So the app and all that, taking out that boring paperwork is a game changer.
Now, I'll ask you this off camera. What's your adoption rate on the app? By your workers?
Well, I spoke to the guys this morning because they're from the customer care team, they're on the front line. They reckon it's almost 100%. So I'd say 98-99%. The only people that don't download the app is maybe your sort of older person that doesn't have a smartphone. They want it emailed or they want it posted out to them, and we can do that. But if 98-99% are taking the app, we've went from using the app to our phones going off the hook on a Friday, all the same questions. Can you tell me how much I'm getting paid? Can you tell me? you hardly have any calls in there on a Friday now because all the contractors can see it on the app.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
And again, from an agency perspective, you go and just log into the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. Actually,
Yeah.
it looks like there's an issue here. Then I can, narrow down the solution and go right. Rather than going, Chris, I've got this candidate complaining they haven't been paid right, and then you have to start an investigation.
Yeah.
I can go, Chris, the hours were submitted,
Yeah.
the timesheet was signed off properly, but for whatever reason, candidate's been paid less.
Yeah.
And you can then hone in on the problem quicker rather than the usual supply chain of let me find out, let somebody find out. Somebody please answer this question.
Yeah. Adding time all the time.
Oh, okay.
But also the part of the app which is really useful is the onboarding part of it. So we've got a couple of projects coming up where we're going to have 100 to 200 contractors getting onboarded.
Yeah.
So from an agency point of view, once that gets put through the app, the contractor registers through the app, the agency goes onto the portal, they can then check to see at what stage of the registration process the contractor's at. So if they're saying, right, he's halfway through getting registered, what's he missing? Oh, he's not sent his passport. Oh, I've got his passport. And then they can say, right, here we go, they can add that onto the portal as well. Right. So again, that comes back to the whole partnership side of things. And they've got full visibility of the registration process. So it just means that it makes everyone's life easier.
Yeah. I suppose actually from an agency owner's perspective, the issue is always that once you hand things off to Umbrella, and you're at the whim of them. But actually, what you're saying is the issue isn't the amount of time something takes. The issue is people don't know where in the process things are broken down. So if we can display that to them in a very clear manner,
simple way. Yeah.
At least they're more informed, and therefore, if there's a solution that they can provide, be it ID, be it I'll call the candidate, I'll get that over the line for you.
Yeah. And if we are
this is that partner thing. This is
100%. And if we are an extension of their team, our portal is just another system they open up in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's the payroll and compliance portal. And they go on there and they know they'll get all the answers in there. Their CRM is different because that helps them get their business, but that's just
but again, I mean, my agency, we were supplying to a handful of local councils, and they would every now and then do an audit and go, right, we need right to work checks on these candidates, we need everything. And we'd be scrambling around because some would be in the CRM, some wouldn't be in the CRM, some would be in like candidate reg forms, some would be in WordPress forms, and we'd be running around looking for all this shit. But actually, if it was all in the one place, you go, right, that's our payroll portal, 100%. Everything will be in there. It will be,
There you go.
And it goes back to that agency owner peace of mind.
Yeah.
So they've got the badge, the safe rec, that keeps them happy with that side of things. But if they also know that they've got all the right to work, the key information document, the passports, everything in there, then they don't have to worry about that if a client does come calling. Yeah.
So you obviously thought this all through, right, in terms of kind of, it sounds very strategic, the decisions that you've made and that kind of thing. The obvious question is then, how scalable is that? Because there is only one of you, there is only one of your team who I've met, great guys, there is only one of them. Surely it gets to a point where you kind of like, you can't message me on a fucking, Sunday evening or when I'm on holiday with the kids because I just can't deal with the volume of emails. So what's the contingency plan from that perspective then?
Yeah, so we've been up and running now 16 months.
Yeah.
The first 13 months has all been, from my point of view, operational.
Yeah.
Building the machine.
Building it, yeah.
And I think I said to you earlier on, there was a couple of projects last year of 500 plus contractors that I walked away from. We weren't ready. That's the long and short of it, we weren't ready. And again, it goes back to earlier on what I was saying, if somebody gave me that opportunity and I let them down, I pride myself on my reputation in the marketplace, but also that could have brought my business down in the first year because it would have spread like wildfire that the service was poor. So we've built that system now, so now we're ready to scale that up. And I know the system we've got, we can scale that up without bringing on loads of extra staff. So as I said, the app, the onboarding app, I could bring on a couple of hundred contractors and we could onboard them in a week. Because effectively we just send the contractor a link, they onboard themselves, they add their ID on there, the team then check that they've added everything on there, and then we can do that. So that's scalable. We don't have to bring on a massive amount of team. but it's just up to me and Chester.
I think strategically, I think one of the things we discuss is we really don't want to hire loads and loads of people. We want to invest in technology to drive compliance and efficiencies in the business.
Yeah.
And I think for a payroll company, that's the way organisations should be done. Yes, we may need more people.
Yeah.
Of course we will.
Yeah.
Because Chris can't be doing what he's doing all the time.
It's accepting that growth doesn't equal headcount.
No, exactly.
Because again, and recruitment is a very similar model, right?
Yeah.
In the if I run a recruitment agency,
Yeah.
the first thing they go is, right, I run a recruitment agency and it was 50 heads and 250 mil turnover.
Yeah.
The two things that they always throw out is the headcount and the turnover.
Yeah.
Turnover, which the profit could be fuck all.
Exactly.
But that's a good number. And the headcount, 50 people that I had in my business, only 10 were billing, the rest of them were, absolute waste of time and space. And those sort of vanity metrics and stuff is what people get caught up in. And so I like what you said is absolutely right, which is, automation, AI, just technology in general can absolutely keep the business lean, efficient, but the service levels. All they're focusing on is service.
I won't name the name of the automation company because it's not fair to do that. But Chris has opened my eyes to even more automation in my business development over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
it's been absolutely brilliant.
Well, we were talking earlier.
Things that would normally take weeks, it's days.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier, so it would be I think from when this episode goes out, maybe 2 episodes before, with Dries de Costa from Chat Automation.
Yeah.
Setting up worker bots to do the manual tasks.
Yeah.
Literally copying the manual tasks. If you've got a task that you're doing regularly, every week, week after week after week, they can build a digital worker bot that will copy it and go, I know what I'm doing now, and just repeat that work at a fraction of the cost of an FTE. But the difference is, it's not let's reduce headcount tool. It's now I've got more time for my staff to put into that piece there of the service element of give them a call, see how they're getting on, do they need anything, tell them about the next webinar we're running, run a webinar, run a Q&A session, do all this good shit that these guys are asking for, which is the value side, rather than just going, my day's fully back to back with just admin tasks.
And meetings, for meetings' sake.
But again, from my point of view, I don't want us to be a Paystream, a Parasol, a Giant. We've got 40,000 contractors a week, and my hat off to these guys. They're big, successful companies, but it becomes like the sausage factory, and it's just sort of generating numbers. I always want to have that relationship, and I'll be involved, and I'll always be hands-on. Now, just touching on that's been a revelation for me in the last 3 or 4 months. So I have had a couple of holidays, went over to the Euros to see Scotland get hammered off of Germany. world champions partying, but Vauxhall Conference football. But when I was over, and then with that week off, the business can run without me now. And in the first year, that didn't happen. So payroll, customer care, all the query, everything that has to run in a payroll company.
But that piece there is so key, because we're now in this kind of, the decade of the entrepreneur is gone. Right? We're now in the decade of the freelancer or the lifestyle business owner, right? Where absolutely, through the use of tech and automation, you don't have to be working 40, 60, 80 hours a week anymore.
No.
Your business can run itself.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this is, those target customers that you've got, these recruitment business owners, they're also going through that same shift that you're going through, which is, I want to spend less time in my business and more time on my business.
Exactly that. And that's exactly what Chris has gone through. Chris is now being more strategic with the business and helping me grow with the business as well, because he's got that time. And it's been brilliant. I have to admit, it's been brilliant, but tech has helped us do that.
But I'm just going to switch this around and ask Chester a question.
Here we go.
No, but Chester's worked for a lot of the big players in the market. What do you think the difference is with AGPayroll as opposed to some of the bigger boys?
I've got 2 big differences.
I'll just get back.
One, I think that everybody who I've spoken to talks about our customer care.
Yeah.
And it's not bullshit, and I will use that word.
Yeah.
You got some fantastic people in the back office. I pick up the phone, right, and within a minute, I've got an answer to my question or an email back dealing with my query. The second game changer for me is the tech.
Yeah.
I know I keep on about it. I'm not a tech god, but it makes life so easy. You know, if you're a recruitment agency owner and you're not looking at apps and technology, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
To drive your business forward?
No, and that's great to hear. And I think the way I've built the business is I want people in the business that I like. And I want people with good personalities, because we've got a small team, so we've got a team of 7, but every one of them knows their stuff and they're all experts in their own area. And don't get me wrong, it's not been plain sailing.
No,
There's been a few disasters.
That's the beauty
But
of
the way we
of
are just
people,
now,
right? Everybody's different.
Yeah.
And it does, you got to kiss a few frogs before you
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
right and that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think the key part of all of this is that you've got people buy from people they like, and people buy from people like them. That's the full saying, right?
Yeah.
I hate when people just go, people buy from people. Well, of course they do. They don't buy from robots, right? No, people buy from people they like, and people buy from people like them.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a business owner and I need to know, right, I don't know whether I'm gonna like you because I don't know you,
Yeah.
but I need to know if you're like me.
Yeah.
You know, I give a shit about my business.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah, you give a shit about your business.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, there's an alignment there. Because when you kind of pull it away, if you think about some of the bad experiences that you've had with, you know, outsourcing or vendors or suppliers, it usually comes down to the fact that that person just doesn't really give a shit about the company they work for, and therefore their quality of work is poor. And so when you can put a team together that is passionate about what they do, but actually care about the business, because they see it as an extension of themselves, that comes through in their work.
Think about your customer complaint that you have with, I don't know, your gas, your utilities, your car. Think about the way it was dealt with.
Yeah.
Those people that deal with it properly, like our people do, stand out in your memory.
Yeah.
Well, they do in mine. I had a problem and that was solved.
So there's what I've done recently is, and it's quite unusual, is I've went and got testimonials off my clients, and usually that's not unusual in itself. But usually when a payroll company gets a testimonial, they don't put the name of the agency and they don't put the name of the person that's gave them the testimonial. Every one of the testimonials that I've put out on LinkedIn, there's a name on there of the company and there's a name on there of the director, and people would be scared of that.
Yeah.
But I'm confident that the service we have, that these guys...
Some idiots will be looking at that and go, he's just put a BD list out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, try it.
No.
You're more than welcome to try it, but you better deliver the service that I deliver.
Yeah.
You know, be as good as we are, have a contractor app, have the service element, have the webinars and the one-to-one training that we offer.
Yeah.
If you can't do any of that, you're going to get left out of the building.
And you know,
but by all means, BD them.
Yeah.
And without being big-headed, I know that what we offer is probably, if not the best, one of the best services in the market, because I've seen what good looks like and I've added more onto it.
Yeah.
So now we're in a place where we can offer the agencies this shit hot service. But listen, the testimonials are a bit of gold dust for us, because I know that there's other payroll companies have reached out to them and go, we'll give you it for and they've said, we'll give you it for
because that's all they know.
€5
They know is to compete on price.
We'll give you £100 vouchers, we'll give you that. And it's like, no, can
I'll
you
give you an even bigger box of donuts this week.
Can you provide the training? Can you provide credit terms? Can you provide
no,
this?
like Crystal will, that's
So that's where that sort of confidence comes, that
of course.
I know that we are an extension of their team, and obviously there's...
But this is the difference between when you've got an agency that works contingent and you've got an agency that works retained.
Yeah.
You'll notice the retained recruiters and the retained agencies will do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Go to our clients and ask them, here they are, you know, because they know what they're offering is unrivaled compared to the sea of shit that exists out there, right? And so, and yeah, you know, again, it's that thing of like, BD them if you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you know what? If you can win their business, then
good
for you, because that means that I need to do something different. I've let my client down.
And you know, we spoke about earlier on, because I've actually walked away from a couple of clients recently because they don't match my values, and also without putting anyone in it, they're taking up too much time from my team.
Yeah.
Because there's not that two-way respect that we're giving them 100% and we're getting some grief back.
And look, there'll be agency
unwarranted.
owners out there that
Yeah.
will hear that, and there's clients that I've got where
Yeah.
they treat us like
Different,
shit.
yeah.
They'll give us a job, then they don't come back on CVs, they don't give us feedback, and then they tell us the job's closed 7 weeks later
Yeah.
while we're still counting the commission and trying to get it over the line.
Right.
And so, it takes a big decision to be able to go, we're not dealing with that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want that business, let everyone else have that.
Yeah.
You know?
So some agencies look at some agency consultants see themselves agencies at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
They get all the shit passed out from the client to everyone else.
Yeah.
And then payroll companies come along and they're just underneath it, and they think this is
Just
my
that
chance to
chance.
give them some shit. But when I see that, I can see it coming now from experience. I say, well, I'm not interested in that. That's not for us.
No, it's not.
No, that's it. So it's truly about partnering
100%.
and being that outsourced solution. Okay, so how do people get in touch with you guys? What's the best way to kind of chuck an inquiry in and that kind of thing?
Yeah, just drop us an email. My email's chris@agpayroll.co.uk, or we've got
Chester.Boothe@AGPayroll.co.uk. Yeah.
Yeah, or else just
LinkedIn, DM us.
Yeah,
I'll put all the
We're all there. Yeah.
your socials in the description. But yeah, there you go. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to leave it on?
Just positive. I've talked about earlier on. It's been a slow, and there's a lot of bullshit in the market, but everybody always says, "Oh, we're flying, everything's great." It's been a slow start to the year, and I think all sectors have been really slow. But the last 3 weeks, we've seen a real uplift in numbers.
Yeah.
So I think just for the recruitment and the payroll and the market in general, I think there's good times to come in the next half of the year.
I'm hoping so. I think you're right. I think my thoughts on it are that you gotta. It's that Instagram window, right? Of like what you see is beautiful, but outside is just a load of shit and like a really messy room, right? And just kind of accept that. Those are shouting the loudest are usually the ones that are the weakest.
Yeah.
So again, accept that, but also kind of redefine your goals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like think about this really. If you've been in business for the last 5 years, you've gone through Brexit, a global pandemic,
COVID,
a recession, another recession, multiple prime minister changes, and like political issues, wars, and you've survived. So you kind of sometimes you got to kind of take this goalpost and go, maybe I should just move them in a bit.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of insolvencies are at an all-time high. Businesses are closing down left, right, and centre. There's a lot of businesses that are leveraged in debt that just can't see a way out.
Yeah.
So if you're in a position where you're making strides, it's slow, it's steady progress, but it's progress nonetheless.
It's progress.
Enjoy that, accept that. Because no one's going to sit there and say, "Oh, hey, like I'm doing okay." They're always going to shout about the big wins. And
I say this to
Chris
Chris all the time. You can't boil the ocean.
And
I say bit by bit. Because a lot of people just want to go out and do it all. You can't. Bit by bit and do the bits well. You can't boil the ocean.
And more importantly, pick your service providers and your partners properly. Right? Because that'll be the make or break, I think, for a lot of these businesses.
But then, just something I've thought about there, if there is any agency owners out there that want to give me a call and they want me to look at their PSL, who they're using, the accreditations they have, they don't have, and what they're actually getting offered from a commercial point of view, then I'm more than happy to give them 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever they need to have a look at it.
Cool, man. I appreciate this. Well, thank you very much. This has been a
great
episode.
Viva la España.
Cheers.
Guys, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, everything that you guys do. Because of you, we are now officially the biggest YouTube channel in the recruitment podcasting space in the UK. So massive thank you very much. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. Well, that was good. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. That was all right.
That was good. That was, yeah.
It seemed to flow, didn't it?
It always does. It always